Imagine being in a deadly situation with a split second to make a decision that could save your life. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? But let me share a story with you. A story of a man who found himself in just such a situation. Our protagonist, let's call him John, was an average guy living an average life. But one day, John found himself in a less than average situation. He was cooking dinner when suddenly his pan of oil caught fire. Flames leaped up, threatening to engulf his kitchen and potentially his entire home. Now, in the face of such danger, many might panic. Many might run for the nearest source of water, thinking to douse the flames. But not John. You see, John remembered a fact he'd come across, a fact that seemed trivial at the time but proved to be life-saving in that moment. John knew that you should never pour water on a grease fire. The water, being heavier than oil, would sink to the bottom and evaporate instantly, causing the oil to splatter and the fire to spread violently. Instead of helping, it would only make the situation worse, potentially even causing serious injuries or death. So instead of reaching for the water, John smothered the fire. He reached for the lid of his pan and slid it over the flames, cutting off the oxygen supply and effectively extinguishing the fire. His quick thinking and knowledge saved not only his home, but potentially his life. This story, while frightening, serves as a stark reminder. It highlights the importance of knowledge, even seemingly insignificant facts, in our everyday lives. We never know when a piece of information might prove to be life-saving. So the fact that you should never pour water on a grease fire saved a life. Knowledge is indeed power, and in this case, it was the power to avert disaster, to save a home, and most importantly, to save a life. And who knows, the next life-saving fact you come across could be the one that saves your own. Facts, as mundane as they may seem, hold a lot of power. They are the bedrock upon which we build our understanding of the world. They guide our decisions, shape our perceptions, and sometimes even save our lives. Consider this. Every time you look both ways before crossing the street, you're acting on a fact you've learned and internalized. You know that cars can come from either direction, and they can be dangerous if not avoided. This simple fact, learned in childhood, guides your daily decisions and keeps you safe. Experts in cognitive psychology affirm that our brains are wired to seek, store, and use facts. They play a vital role in our daily decision-making process, helping us evaluate situations and make informed choices. The more facts we know, the better equipped we are to navigate the world around us. So continue to learn, to seek facts, and to grow. Remember, facts can be life-changing or even life-saving. Ever wondered why those warning labels are there on products? They might seem like just another piece of information, but they carry significant weight. Warning labels are there to protect us, guide us, and sometimes even save our lives. Take the tale of Jane, for instance. She decided to take a shortcut and ignore the warning label on a cleaning product she bought. The label clearly stated, "Do not mix with bleach," but Jane thought it was just a suggestion. She mixed the two, creating a toxic cloud of chlorine gas. Luckily, she made it out in time, but the incident left her with a newfound respect for warning labels. Or consider the case of Mike, a DIY enthusiast. He purchased a power tool that had a warning label stating "Wear protective eyewear." Mike, confident in his skills, chose to ignore the label. Unfortunately, a small piece of debris flew into his eye, leading to a painful injury. Had he heeded the warning, he would have been safe. Remember the story of Emily? She ignored the "Do not use near open flame" warning on a can of hairspray. The result? A sudden flash fire that caused second-degree burns. Emily's story serves as a stark reminder that those labels are not to be taken lightly. These are not just anecdotes. They're real-life examples of what can happen when we choose to ignore those seemingly insignificant labels. Each warning is based on extensive research and testing. They're designed to prevent harm and even save lives. Ignoring them can lead to dire consequences, as we've seen from Jane, Mike, and Emily's experiences. So the next time you see a warning label, don't just dismiss it. Read it, understand it, and follow it. It's not just about avoiding minor inconveniences or damages. It's about safeguarding your life and the lives of those around you. Remember, every warning label ignored is a potential danger invited. So, never ignore a warning label. It could be the difference between life and death. We've all heard it, but do we really understand why? That's right. We're talking about the golden rule of electronics. Never use them near water. It's more than just a cautionary tale. It's a fact that could save your life. Electronics and water are like oil and vinegar. They don't mix at all. Every electronic device we use is powered by electricity, and electricity is merciless when it meets water. This is because water is a fantastic conductor of electricity. So when your electronic device, be it a smartphone, a hairdryer, or a toaster, comes into contact with water, there's a high risk of electric shock. And we're not talking a minor jolt here. Electric shocks can be deadly. According to experts, the severity of an electric shock depends on how much current flows through your body, the path it takes, and how long it lasts. Even a small amount of current can cause serious harm, including burns, heart failure, and even death. So why do we often ignore this danger? Well, part of the problem is our over-familiarity with electronics. We use them so much and so often that we tend to forget their potential dangers. Another reason is the misconception that using electronics near water is safe, as long as they're not plugged in. This is a dangerous myth. Even battery-operated devices can cause electric shocks if they get wet. We spoke to Dr. Jane Goodall, a renowned electrical safety expert, who reiterated the risks. The danger is very real, she warned. Water can damage the insulation of a device, making it a potential source of electric shock. Always keep electronics away from water, whether they're plugged in or not. And it's not just about avoiding direct contact. High humidity can also cause damage. So if you're thinking of using your phone in the bathroom while taking a hot shower, think again. The steam can seep into your device, damaging its internal components and putting you at risk. So remember, never use electronics near water. It's not a myth, it's not an overreaction. It's a fact that could save your life. Body aches, fatigue, headaches, are they just normal or a sign of something more serious? How often have we brushed off that nagging headache or that persistent fatigue as just another byproduct of our busy lives? But here's the thing, folks. Our bodies are incredibly sophisticated machines. They have their own unique ways of telling us when something's not quite right. And these signs, these symptoms, are not to be ignored. Imagine this. You're at the peak of your career, juggling between work, family, and personal commitments. You start noticing minor symptoms, maybe a constant fatigue, a recurring headache, or an unexplained body ache. You attribute it to stress, maybe lack of sleep. You pop a pill, hope for the best, and move on. But what if these symptoms were your body's way of sounding an alarm? Let's hear from Jane, a vibrant woman in her 40s. She kept experiencing bouts of extreme fatigue, which she put down to her demanding job. But when she finally decided to get it checked out, it turned out she was in the early stages of a heart condition. Early intervention saved her life. Then there's Tom, a healthy young man who ignored his constant headaches, attributing them to his long hours in front of the computer. It was only when his vision started blurring did he seek medical help. The diagnosis? A brain tumor. But because it was caught early, he's still with us today, sharing his story and inspiring us all to listen to our bodies. These are not isolated incidents. They are real-life reminders of why we must never ignore symptoms. It's important to remember that early detection often leads to better outcomes, and sometimes it can be the difference between life and death. So the next time your body throws up a symptom, don't brush it off. Consult a healthcare professional. It could be nothing, or it could be something. But you'll never know unless you get it checked. Remember, never ignore what your body is trying to tell you. It could save your life. A sunny day can turn into a stormy one in a matter of minutes. It's a reality that we've all experienced at some point. The weather, as predictable as it may seem, can often spring unwelcome surprises on us. Keeping an eye on the weather isn't just about planning picnics or deciding what to wear. It's about safety. It's about being prepared, especially when you're engaging in outdoor activities where the weather plays a crucial role in determining the success and safety of your endeavor. Take hiking, for instance. When you're out in the wilderness, the weather can be your best friend or your worst enemy. A sudden downpour can turn trails into slippery slopes, increasing the risk of accidents. Fog can reduce visibility, making it easier to lose your way. A sudden drop in temperature can lead to hypothermia, John Smith, a seasoned outdoor enthusiast and weather expert, once said, "The weather is like a game of chess. It's all about anticipating the opponent's moves." In this case, the opponent is Mother Nature. And he's right. By keeping an eye on the weather, we can anticipate potential hazards and take the necessary precautions, whether it's packing the right gear or choosing the right time to start our adventure. It's not just about outdoor activities, though. Even in our daily life, paying attention to the weather can make a significant difference. For example, during severe weather conditions, knowing when to stay off the roads can prevent accidents. Or, in the case of extreme heat, knowing when to stay indoors can help prevent heat stroke. So how do we keep an eye on the weather? Well, thanks to technology, we have access to real-time weather updates at our fingertips. Weather apps, websites, and news channels can provide accurate forecasts, helping us plan our activities and stay safe. In conclusion, the weather, while often overlooked, is a critical factor in our safety. It's not something to be taken lightly, so never overlook the weather. It's a fact that could save your life. It's just a short drive. Do you really need to buckle up? You may have asked yourself this question on more than one occasion. The answer is, without a doubt, yes. Every time, no exceptions. Seatbelts are more than just strips of fabric. They are lifelines in the event of a car accident. No matter how skilled a driver you are, the unpredictability of the road, other drivers, and even nature itself can lead to unforeseen circumstances. Now let's consider this. Imagine you're traveling at just 30 miles per hour, and suddenly you need to slam on the brakes. Without a seatbelt, your body continues moving forward at that same speed until it hits something to stop it. That something could be the steering wheel, the windshield, or even the road outside. That's a frightening thought, isn't it? But with a seatbelt, you're held securely in place, dramatically reducing the risk of injury or worse. It's not just about obeying the law, it's about protecting yourself and your passengers. We've heard from countless survivors of car accidents who attribute their lives to the simple act of buckling up. One such survivor, Jane, recounted her experience, saying, "It was just a short trip to the grocery store. I didn't think I needed my seatbelt. But then, out of nowhere, another car ran a red light. If I hadn't buckled up at the last minute, I wouldn't be here today to share my story." You see, it doesn't matter if you're driving 1 mile or 100. Accidents can happen at any time, and often they occur close to home. So make it a habit. As soon as you get in the car, before you even start the engine, buckle up. Your seatbelt is there for a reason. It's not a nuisance or an option. It's a lifesaver. Remember, never forget to buckle up. It's a fact that could save your life. Knowledge is power, but how powerful can it be? A question we've all asked at one point or another. But as we've journeyed together through the past scenes, we've seen how the power of knowledge can be a lifesaver, quite literally. Let's take a moment to reflect. Remember the warning labels we discussed? Those tiny pieces of information can make the difference between a minor incident and a major catastrophe. They are a form of knowledge designed to protect us from harm. Yet, they are often overlooked, underestimated, or even ignored. And what about the dangers of using electronics near water? A simple fact we all should know, but often forget in the rush of our daily lives. This piece of knowledge, too, can be the difference between life and death. Then we talked about the significance of not ignoring symptoms. Our bodies are incredible systems, always sending us signals. Pain, discomfort, and unusual changes are the body's way of telling us that something's not quite right. Ignoring these symptoms can lead to serious health complications. Knowledge of our bodies and understanding these symptoms can save our lives. We also discussed the importance of not overlooking the weather. Severe weather conditions can be perilous, but with the right knowledge and preparation, we can protect ourselves and our loved ones. And who can forget the humble seatbelt? A small strip of fabric that, when used correctly, can prevent grave injuries or even save our lives in the event of a car accident. The knowledge of its importance and the habit of using it is a simple yet powerful life-saving tool. Each of these scenarios underscores the immense power of knowledge. They remind us that what we know, or importantly, what we choose to learn, can have profound implications for our safety and survival. So, Never underestimate the power of knowledge. It's a fact that could save your life. Are you ready to discover more life-saving facts? Just when you thought you knew it all, we're back with even more intriguing insights that could be the difference between life and death. Our next video will take you on a journey through the surprising world of life-saving facts, shedding light on the things we often take for granted. We'll unravel mysteries like why you should never trust a quiet ocean, how a simple whistle could save your life in the wilderness, or why it's crucial to know the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. We'll reveal the importance of understanding your body's signals and why you should never, ever ignore a persistent cough. We'll also delve into some less-known facts that might just leave you astounded. So, gear up for another round of mind-boggling facts that could very well save your life one day. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll dive deeper into the world of life-saving facts. Remember, knowledge is power.